What's good? What's good? It's the one and only, but what do I know? Boxing coming back at y'all with another one, man. So we got Gary Russell continuing to put the foot on I'm finna say on Terrence Crawford, on Gervonta Tank Davis. Gary Russell recently did an interview. I'm trying to find the full interview, but I saw a clip of the interview on his Instagram page. So when I find a full interview, I'll make sure to do a video on that, and so I can give them a shout out or whatnot, because I don't really know their name. I think it's called like the Perspective or something like that. I'm gonna definitely look into it, but he's continuing to call out Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. Now, as we all know, Tank Davis recently did made a post saying that he was talking about retiring or whatnot, and I'm gonna briefly speak on that. Listen, I don't have while I would not want Tank to retire, that's me. I've never been one to criticize a fighter when they say they want to retire, because who are we to tell a fighter when they should or should not retire? If his heart is not in it, he doesn't need to continue fighting, because clearly he's not trying to fight the best fighters anyways, if we're being honest. So what's the point of you even sitting there babysitting the title if you're not trying to fight the best oppositions available, or you even trying to become the best in that weight class or whatnot? So, I'm not mad at the retirement or whatnot. If he does retire, he's had a successful career, made tons of money. Shout out to Tank Davis. Go ahead and retire, and you're not gonna have to we won't hold you to those standards. However, if you do retire, you should not mention the fact that you should not bring up the Hall of Fame, bro, because that's going to bring a lot of criticism your way. And you must know that any interview you do is going to come with the lack of fights that you did not make. The Shakurs, the Devin Haney's, the Teofimo Lopez, the Lomachenkos, any top fighters that the Keyshawn, man, well, not so much Keyshawn Davis, but the top fighters in your weight class you did not fight. So those questions are going to haunt you anytime you have an interview. You must know that if you retire without fighting at least some of those guys. All right, but if you choose to retire, my hats off to you on a successful career, and I pray that you invest your money the right way, and may God bless you and your family for the rest of your life. You be set. That I wish nothing but the best for you, brother. Now, as far as Gary Russell going, let me go ahead and post the the clip of the interview that I'm talking about, and then we'll talk about it.
Do you think you can beat Tank? Fuck it. Tank would dog you.
If Tank think he would dog me, he would said it by now. Get your money with Paul in this exhibition. Get your money, but after that, show you really gotta show. Lamont is moving around this joint with an inflated head because he fought to a draw. I will beat his ass. Then it's gonna make people think if he did that to Lamont, then what the fuck would he do to Tank?
Were you hating when he was being selected by Tank to fight?
If you're picking and choosing who you're fighting, that is a sign of weakness.
No one ever brought your name up as a contender.
Because they scared. I see bitch in it. So Lamont, you should have kept your mouth closed. I want to see.
Now, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. As far as Gary Russell goes, I actually recently did a video of guys that were like putting their career on hold to like chase certain fighters. I kind of feel like Gary Russell has done that with Tank Davis. At some point, Gary, it's like, bro, you got to change the subject now, bro, because Tank is clearly not finna fight you. And I'm not going to lie to you, that's a fight that I really would have loved to see. That would have done big numbers in the DMV area. I really would have loved to see Tank Davis and Gary Russell fight each other or whatnot, because I think skill for skill, they're on par or whatnot. However, Tank Davis just was never interested. But again, I've always stated, Gary Russell didn't do himself any favors by just sitting down at 126, babysitting the WBC title, and not moving up and putting himself not putting himself in the way of being able to fight Tank Davis. He didn't put himself in that status to be able to fight Tank Davis, because he was just babysitting the title and being inactive at 126. So I can't really say it's a duck when you're not even fighting in his weight class, or even a contender in his weight class. Now, he just recently moved up and fought somebody at 135, so I'm proud of him for that this year. And it was so good to see Gary Russell back, because I really think that dude is a skillful fighter. And that's great that you put yourself in that position to fight or whatnot now. But I feel like, bro, it's time to you got to keep fighting so people can call for these fights, because right now with you being inactive and or you just fought. This was your first time fighting in 3 years. But you were inactive. It makes it hard for us to push for a Lamont Roach fight with you, because I definitely will. I think that Gary Russell can beat Lamont Roach. I have no doubt. I ain't gonna say I have no doubt in my mind. I think that's a 70-30 fight in my opinion. I think Gary Russell is definitely the more skillful fighter. He definitely has the better IQ. But I don't know if his age is going to play a factor, because he is older in age. But I do think Gary Russell can beat Lamont Roach if they were to fight right now at 135. But the thing about it is, Lamont Roach, to what Gary was saying, he has a point. Lamont Roach is on this high horse of coming to a draw with Tank Davis, and it's like, fam, regardless of people thinking that you beat Tank Davis, the fact of the matter is you didn't. It was ruled a draw, and in my opinion, bro, that was the right rule. A lot of people feel like, yes, I understand. Like if we're going by technicalities, yes, he should have been a victory. He should have been the victor in the fight, because I had it a draw, but so a draw in boxing, 6 rounds to 6 equals 114, right? But you got to take a point away from Tank, because Tank did take a knee, which would have given Lamont Roach a 10-8 round, even though he didn't really do much in that round himself. It would have given him a 10-8 round, which would have then made the scorecards 114 to 113 for Lamont Roach. So by technicalities, yes, he should have been a victory, but do I think it was a robbery? No. I mean, he should have been a victor, but do I think it was a robbery? No. He did not do enough for me to say that he pulled away with a victory. He waited on Tank, who is the A side, and then he's going on this campaign talking about trying to sue Tank because there was a rematch clause in there. Buddy, do you know how rematch clauses operate, bro? The champion gets to decide whether he wants to exercise the rematch clause or not. You didn't hold a title at 135. Nobody was fighting for your title at 130. Therefore, you had no rematch clause in the fight. And 9 times out of 10, the rematch clause always goes to the fighter on the A side. Even whether you're champion or not, it goes to the fighter on the A side. If Canelo Alvarez, who has no belts or no titles, was to fight somebody that had a title, he would be able to put in a rematch clause whether he would like to exercise or not, because he's the A side, he's the money man, he's the draw. I'm not saying it's fair, but that's just how boxing operates. They operate off of politics or whatnot, right? Lamont Roach, you don't have that, bro. You don't have the draw, the star power, nor did you have the belt at 135 to exercise a rematch clause. That's all due on Tank. So guess what? You trying to sue this man is gonna fall on deaf ears. Keep it moving, bro. Because I don't like the way Lamont Roach has been moving lately with he's just going on this campaign of like off of a moral victory, and that's just not how it works, bro. You got to come back and put yourself in that position. I really honestly think that a fight with him and Gary Russell in the DMV would do good numbers as far as attendance sales wise, bro. He's because Lamont Roach, I'm not gonna take it away. He's a good fighter. You can't take that away from him. But I would like to see him, just stop. Don't put your career on hold for Tank Davis, because Tank Davis ain't finna fight you, brother. And I know it's messed up. You deserve a rematch with Tank for sure. But he's not gonna fight you, bro. So you got to move on, bro. You got to move on in your career. As far as Gary Russell goes, bro, you got to do the same thing, my dude. You got to keep fighting, dog, and put yourself in position to where these guys have to see you. If not, you're just gonna be one of them dudes that's like not active. You don't have a title now, so it's like it makes it easy for people to avoid you. You got to keep fighting these guys that are coming. You can, even though I know you want the big names, and I respect and I salute that, brother, but you're just gonna have to keep fighting these guys until you get ranked up high in these organizations, and then these guys are gonna have to see you. At some point, they will have to see you. Now, I don't know how much time you have, and the way the PBC operates, that might be later than sooner. But you might have to, leave PBC, bro. Like, you go fight, try to get on a turkey card, fight on a preliminary. I always had a hard time saying that word. Preliminary bout, like you did in a few months ago. I can't remember whose bout that was. But but I only watched that preliminary bout just to see you fight, because I'm a fan, bro. I'm a big fan of yours. So, keep yourself active, and these guys will have to see you, bro. They will have to see you at some point, whether it be Shakur Stevenson, whether it be, I think, I don't know, I think the WBO title is vacant at 135, but you know how that goes. The WBO is more tied in with Top Rank, so I doubt that he would get his hands on the WBO title. But who has the IBF? I don't even know who has the titles, all the titles down there at 135. But bro, just keep yourself active, bro. And I promise you, these guys will eventually have to see you, dog. Because you're still a good fighter. You proved that. The dude was carrying his opponent his last fight. He could have got that dude out of there in like the second round, bro. But he was carrying, which I understood because Gary Russell wanted to get more rounds in because he's been inactive. I ain't got no problem with that at all, bro. I understand that, bro. But it's now time to put yourself in position. Both fighters, Lamont and Gary Russell, bro. But I would love for them to fight each other. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. How do you see a fight between Gary Russell and Lamont Roach? But what do I know?